episode of Speak on It, y'all. I'm your host with my two co-hosts, Dom, and I got Biv and Tamon with me. Um, we got a hip hop Friday filled mixed with some sports and just everything that's going on right now. But before we dive right into it, we want to make sure that y'all go ahead and follow us on Instagram. Make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and go listen to us on Spotify. We are also on Twitter as well. But if you want to find how easy it is to get to us, you can go to our link tree into on our Facebook page, and you can be able to follow us on there. But I'm gonna have my man Biv go ahead and say something to the people.
I just want to give a shout out to my daughter Ariana. She turned 13 yesterday, so you see some decorations in the background still. So if that's going to answer your question, like what is going on behind the wing, that's what's going on behind me. We still got decorations up from the party from yesterday, but she had a great 13th birthday party yesterday, and we're going to do it again on Sunday for a real big. So just shout out to
Happy
her.
birthday, baby! Happy birthday! All right, to mine.
Hey man, just want to welcome everybody. Hope you guys have a great weekend coming up, especially Ariana as well. Hope you have a good weekend. 13 is a good year. Enjoy it. Let's get it going. Let's get it going.
Yes, sir. Hey, listen. Let's start off right where y'all was at. It's passionate. It was passionate right there. Let's start off with the Nas album.
I'll go first, man. To me, it was a typical Nas album. I don't. There's very few albums that Nas has ever put out where you can question the bars. You can always question his selection of whether you want to say producers, whether you want to say beats, whatever it is, you can always question it. And it was again another questionable production on this project. It was one of those things where, again, I was just talking to Tamon about there was no bangers. There's no bangers to me on this album. There's no bangers. There's some great messages in a lot of the songs. If you're into lyrics and content, this is a good album for you. If you are into music, this probably isn't the album for you if you're into music. This is gonna be probably something that I could listen to and study, but I will not be riding down the street listening to this album. Um, I gotta do some more digging. Like I was saying a while ago, I gotta do some digging because if I find out that Nas went to some producers that were on the radio, and these are the beats that he selected from these individuals, I'm gonna have an even bigger issue with this album. Um, if I was to give it like, say I'm the source, I'd give it 3 mics.
Ooh.
And I'm only gonna give it 3 mics because it's Nas. I would give it 2.5 because the music vibe was not. It just wasn't there. It wasn't. It wasn't there. But that's just my opinion. So
Even from like you said, the first song on there, it don't draw you in. Yeah, I mean, it don't draw you in. I'm with you. There's no bangers on there. Like you said, he gets 3 mics because it's just name recognition. But it took me back to like what I said to y'all before about like what I said with Nas. Like I don't know what he does sometimes with his music. Like you said, I think poetry, like you said, lyrically, he gonna be Nas. But a album, putting a complete album together, that's gonna draw you in, that's gonna have you knocking it. I feel like I can't think of any album that Nas put out that I'm gonna knock from beginning to end. Yeah, I mean, you got a couple bangers on a couple of them, but like you said, this is a typical Nas album. He didn't, and not to, and I guess we'll get into this category as well later on. But I think like if Jay puts something out, like it's gonna draw you in, right? It's gonna draw you in. One is off of Jay and Nas. They both got big names. You know what I mean, so everybody gonna be like, let's go listen to the album. But Jay gonna keep you kept. He gonna keep you cultivated. You know what I mean, he gonna keep you captive by what he's talking about. and I just don't think Nas does that. We got to be like like when we had Darren on the show, like he's going. That's the type of music Nas going to put out because he's going to spit some stuff that's going to get you to think. For the deep thinker, that's the music that Nas is putting out for deep thinkers, not for the draw audience.
I'm gonna take up for Nas. No, I'm just. I like the album. It was produced all the way through, I think, by Hit Boy. Which I mean, I don't really like when artists go all the way through with one producer because then it sounds like one sound. It can be, um, but at the same time, I think that this was a makeup for the rush job that was with Kanye. I think that was a lot better as far as the album Nasir, his last project. So I mean, one of the things that you guys were saying, like the production, no, it's nothing that's captivating. I'm not going to say that's anything that's drawing you in. But at the same time, with Nas having the record that he does, I try to delve into what he's saying. So that's one of the reasons why I like Nas. And I thought that this album was pretty, I mean, it's not his best work. Not going to say that. It's by far not his best work. But at the same time, it's a nice album, and that's in my opinion. I could go with the 3 stars or the 3 mics. I can go with that. Um, but I liked it.
It's like what Biv said, right? And I feel like a lot of Nas music is like that. You can't just listen to it one time and like judge it. Yeah, I mean, it's Nas when Nas put music out is music that you have to go back and like intentionally listen to over and over and over again to say, okay, I get it. I understand what you're talking about. Like you said, it's for deep thinkers. Bibb said it's an album that Nas put out albums that you have to go back and study. That's what you have to do with Nas albums. You have to go back and say, okay, this is what he was talking about. It's like I gotta put things together, I gotta piece it together. And when you listen to the music, sometimes you don't want to have to piece it together. You just want to put it in there and just let it knock. You know what I mean?
I just want to vibe out, man.
Nas give you music that you gotta go like. I gotta think too much with Nas music.
And then Jay said, "You trying to kick knowledge?" And then,
Yeah, that's what he said to her. What is it? 20 years later, he's still kicking out. He's still trying to kick knowledge.
I mean, I felt a lot of the song. I think me and Tom was talking about it. I don't know if he was on in that yet. But we was talking about I think it's called Full Circle.
Yeah.
With the rest of the firm, and even that song was kind of all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like it felt like a song where he put his bars down on the beat and then he just sent the beat to AZ. Then he sent the beat to Fox, and I guess was that Mega?
Yeah, Core Mega.
That was Mega. Okay, and then he sent the beat to Mega, and like it wasn't. I felt like if he was gonna do that, and I'm not saying that they didn't, but it didn't feel like they were all in the booth together writing and you know what I mean, bouncing ideas and everything off of one another. It just sounded like a bunch of verses just put together. Don't get it twisted. I liked everybody's verses. Don't get it twisted. But it didn't come together to me for a song with, you know what I mean, with some pretty big names in, you know what I mean, in hip hop.
And I concur. I was like we was talking about earlier. It that was the one song that when I seen who was on it, I was like, okay, you know what I mean.
I went to that one first,
right? Because us as the ones thinking about what was going on back then, it was like, okay, let's see what it is, and it wasn't cohesive whatsoever. It was like you said, sending out the tracks, and it didn't live up to the expectation. Like I was telling Biv, if they had did something like a remake of the Firm beat, and it did like some cohesiveness, something like the Firm 2, bring it back, you know what I mean? Like even though you're not living that life, we know you're not living that life. We all know y'all grown with kids and whatnot. just take us back real quick. You know what I mean? Especially when you got those three all together. You know what I
They
mean?
can talk about it. They can still talk from it.
Because
Experience.
I mean,
I like
even
AZ.
though
You
I
know what I
always
mean?
love AZ.
So and seeing and Fox sounded like old Fox, but it was like we know you're not that old Fox, and then it wasn't. It was like
And
if
she was
everybody rolled
barking
with Fox,
though, but she was
right,
still
right,
barking though,
and it was
and like, and that's why I was like you could tell like she was ready to go, but it didn't feel like she had that full push behind her, like that adrenaline that if all of them were in the booth together, man, and Nas just laid down his 16 and killed. I might need to go back and rework this. I can't let him do me like that. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like that. But Fox was still Fox on there. She was talking her stuff like she normally do. Um, Az was Az, Mega was Mega, Nas was Nas. I just wish you could have been more together. That's all.
Do y'all think like, cause Tamar made a good point about how his last joint felt rushed. Do you feel like this one may have felt rushed as well because like it just didn't feel like complete. You know what I mean? Like you said, if, with Fox and them, it felt like it was like here you go, here you go. You feel me? And everybody laid their joint down and they did it in one take and they just put it together.
I think this was more complete than the last joint. I mean, he even said it himself that Kanye had a lot of things going on with his album, Cuddy's album, Push's album. He had a lot going on, and he was on the back burner because he wasn't on the label. So, I mean, this sounds better, but at the same time, I still think the features on there is pretty all right. But like you said, the first joint that you go to, full circle, and that's not cohesive, and then you know what I mean, blend it all together. It was a good album in my opinion, but it rushed. I possibly, possibly, especially if you don't bounce ideas off each other. Like it just looks like you're doing this just to put out work.
Just put something out.
Yeah, versus it being something that you actually invested in totally. You know what I mean?
Like we 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 need something to do. Yeah, I mean we ain't did nothing in a while, or just like Nas. Even though Nas did just put the album out, but it's like it felt like he was trying to make up and redeem from Nasir. You know what I mean? Like that's what it felt like. He was trying to like he knew that was rushed and he knew that wasn't his best work and that wasn't up to par with his standard. And then he felt like he was trying too hard to make up for it with this one.
But he's also independent too. So I mean, like that could also be to where he's trying to push his label as well.
You got nothing on that?
Well, I hope so. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, if what does Nas do? Like we know,
Invest.
we know like Jay like is involved with like Rock Nation and all of that other stuff. Like what does Nas do?
Now,
He's a
from what I
rapper.
understand, he don't like too much talk about his stuff. Like I've seen stuff pop up to where like he's had investments in like Lyft and stuff like that. I
Okay,
don't know what he
that's
does as far as like the
That's an
community.
investment.
no. I'm talking about when he get up every day. What does he do?
Oh,
Like what's it
that's a
like? Yeah, like is he a
Like what is his
what does his
lifestyle
day to
like?
day look like?
What does his day to day look like? I don't know. I don't know. But for a guy who doesn't seem like he runs businesses that he has to like be on top of every day. I mean, I understand he's trying to get his label off and everything like that. But if he's trying to get a label off, one, so he's been in the game for a long time to be trying to do a label at this time when really people are more so leaning towards going independent
Yeah.
and not wanting to be in their own boss and not having to work for somebody else. But that's neither here nor there. But at the same time, if you're trying to get a label off, I I need to put out a product that's memorable for a good reason. This isn't going to be memorable for a good reason.
Like this, like you said, this is first album, or I don't know. This is first album on his label or his second album.
I think his second album. I think his first one
And both of them.
was yeah. No. So his first one was yeah. Nasir.
Nasir. Okay.
It's his second.
Because
It's his second album
he's
under his
got
label.
Dave East on his album. I mean on his label, and it's really
So-
been Dave East and a couple other guys. But
See, and to me that's an issue. That's an issue. Again, I don't know what his day-to-day is. I don't know what he does basically for a living, other than rap. I know he makes investments here and there, but a lot of people make investments. You don't get up every day and go work on your investments. You know what I mean? You put the money there and then you sit back and you wait. So I don't know what he does for the day-to-day. I know he's working on the label and everything, but if this is what he wants to do, he's got to put together better projects than this, because he's going to be the standard for that label. He's going to be the standard for that label. When people hear, oh, he on Nas label? Nas putting out trash himself, so why am I going to buy him, listen to him, stream him? If the boss is putting out trash, what am I going to listen to, you know what I mean, the guys under him for? The boss got to be the standard.
Like you said, if he putting out garbage, what makes, like you said, what makes me think that the people that's underneath him not gonna put out garbage?
Yeah.
What makes me think that? Because what's gonna make people think it's gonna make it's like you ain't got it no more. So why I want to come work with you? You ain't got it no more.
I mean, from what it seems like, the artist that he has and whatnot, I don't know if he's. It seems like a Nas link to where like he's cool with being like laid back, like not because even Dave East, like Dave East not like popping like that, but people like Dave East, he's getting into like the acting and whatnot, so I know that might have been an influence because Nas tried to do a little acting here and there and whatnot. But I think that Nas is and even with his label is where they are like not flying under the radar, but they have their own lane in a sense. So where like they have their cult following and they stick to that. That's what it seems like to me from the artists that they have on their label. I mean, it looked like they got Manny Fresh, which that would be like, we got Manny Fresh. I've never heard of. I've never.
Time out, T-Mart. Time out. Which Manny Fresh are we referring to?
It's Manny.
Which man? No. Don't
Brian
you say that.
Otto Thomas.
Don't you say that.
By his stage name.
Hold on. Time out.
Manny Fresh.
Hold on. He has Manny Fresh on his label.
It says the label's current roster includes such as Nas, DJ Shadow, Manny Fresh, Davies.
You didn't go to Manny for the beats?
Maybe
Manny might be doing his own. I don't know.
Listen, maybe Manny ain't got it no more either, man. Maybe Manny ain't got it.
You're right. Manny produced like all the Cash Money hits for like 10 years. So you're right. He might be beat it out. But man, I gotta at least put him out there on one.
If you got him, I mean, you might as well just use him.
Don't let him sit on the bench.
Here's the thing to mindset, right? That they caught my eye. It was like people like Nas, people like Davies, like, and that's just probably what they're just gonna be. Like people just like Nas, and people gonna like Davies. People are not gonna love them, especially with the stuff that they're putting out there. They're not gonna fall in love with what they're doing. Unless they get Cash Money Manny out here and he starts to be doing things. But right now, Nas 0 for 2 right now. It's just what it is. He 0 for 2.
Nah, he's still at. Nah, you're right. He 0 for 2. I was gonna say he was still at. I was gonna give him still at bet on this King's disease. I was gonna say he foul tip. You know what I'm saying? But nah, he swung and missed.
It's
He
one of the
swung and
things you
missed.
probably gotta go back and listen to it over and over again. And if I gotta do that,
Listen,
No,
like
I can go back and listen to it over and over again and be more impressed lyrically. The beats is gonna be the
I'm
beats.
with you. Like,
The beats are gonna be the
I
beats,
gotta do
man.
that. I'm like, yeah.
And I can't get through. I can't get through the beats. Again, this album should have been acapella.
This one of the things
Should
he
have been
should have did
acapella.
live.
He should. Yep. He
He
should.
should have did
He,
live.
matter. This is. He should go to the roots. That's what he should. He should do a live. He should do a live album with the roots.
that'd be
And
dope.
let
That'd be
and
dope.
him and
Jay
Black
already
Thought
did
can
that,
go
though.
nuts. So
Jay already did that though.
so
Like
it's been a
speaking
long. It's been a long time ago.
Speaking of Jay,
speaking of Jay.
Speaking of Jay,
so the question we had today was: do we think Jay sabotaged Nas by putting out a product at the same time Nas put a product out? And I say no. I don't think he sabotaged him. This is what I'll say. Regardless of if Jay put his music out next year, it wouldn't have changed how we felt about Nas music right now. So Nas better be happy that Jay got something out right now that we can talk about. So people ain't out here just trying to focus on that weak sauce that he just put out. And again, not saying it's weak lyrically, but as far as the production, it's weak. You know what I mean? So I don't think Jay deliberately put it out there at the same time. But again, it's Jay-Z, so who knows? Maybe he did.
Okay. let's since I'm a stat guy, let's read off the stats. Stillmatic came out December 18th, 2001. Jay-Z's Unplugged came out December 18th, 2001. Street Disciple came out November 30th, 2004. Jay-Z and Linkin Park Collision Course came out November 30th, 2004. Nas' Greatest Hits came out November 6th, 2007. American Gangster came out November 6th, 2007. Nasir came out June 15th, 2018. Everything is Love, The Carters came out June 16th, 2018. The Lost Tapes 2 came out June 19th, 2019. Beyonce comes out with the Lion King album July 19th,
You can't hold
2019.
Beyonce against.
This is what they have. Wait a minute. So now we have King's Disease comes out August 23rd, 2020. Pharrell featuring Jay-Z, Entrepreneur comes out right after that.
It's coincidental.
It's too.
Maybe they talk about it. Maybe they talk about it. Maybe they discussed it.
for me, it's one of those things where like if I can see Jay, I can see Jay being that petty. I can. Um, but it's hard to believe like my man just sat on his work and said, "I'm gonna wait till Nas come
Wait
out.
till Nas drop this thing.
I'm
He
gonna
ain't
wait till
finished
Nas drop. I'm gonna wait till Nas drop, and I'm gonna drop mine on the same day." I find that hard to believe, but at the same time, we are talking about Jay and how my man was throwing settled jabs at Nas even after they squashed the beef. Nas was his employee. I know people don't like to hear that, but he was. He was his employee. He was still throwing settled jabs at that man. So I don't. I can see it both ways, but I just find it hard to believe that Jay would just sit on a project and wait until Nas came out just to say, "Look at me now." And the Beyonce Lion King thing, that's irrelevant, man. I wouldn't. The other ones though. That's just too coincidental,
It's
man.
too coincidental.
It's too coincidental.
It's like
man.
you know how when they said Pac died, he had like a bunch of work that was unreleased. Like you can just still release a lot of albums with it. That's what it feel like with Jay. Like Jay probably got a bunch of stuff that's already written, and he just wait for Nas to just drop something. Nas about to drop an album. I drop that right now. That's what it feels like.
All right, so this is it. I think okay. So the Stillmatic and the Unplugged, I definitely think that was on purpose.
Oh yeah, that was intentional.
That was
That's when they
around the
beef.
ether time, right?
Mhm.
I still think that Street Disciple and G. Listen, man, there's albums that Jay-Z did in between these, right? Like he got the joint, the Watch the Throne joint. He's got the 444. So it's not like he sat on work.
He just wait for Nas to do his thing, and he just
But then when he has work to put out,
He can
does he
sit on
hold
work with
it?
Nas because Nas at one point was putting out a project every 3 years.
Right, but that's what he's been doing.
Exactly.
2001,
So
2004,
Jay
2007.
don't have to sit on. Jay don't have to sit on work
He don't.
because Jay was putting out an album
every year.
dear summer.
But each time Nas drops the album, it's something Jay-Z related.
Yeah, that's too coincidental.
Yo,
Maybe Nas is dropping albums when Jay-Z dropping albums. You ever think about that?
That's stupid.
if this man only
You
does
know
it
we
out,
can't
yo,
sell. You know we can't outsell Jay Z. That if you know what if he did that that explains why he keeps picking these producers. He's a bad decision maker. It's just that simple.
Listen,
But then again,
it's yeah.
never mind. I'm not even going there.
So I'm thinking right of the rap personalities that I've seen over the years. This seems so Jay-Z like, bro. Like to continue this pettiness to say I can outsell you, which he probably did. It's not gonna hold you. And probably say my album is better. This is a continuous pettiness because people are always gonna say Ether was better than anything. And that as a
That'd be a lie.
competition guy, man, it's too coincidental.
There
bro.
is no
It's
competition.
like the Lion King.
So he just said, "Hey,
That
big,
that will be the all-time cherry on top. Like, babe, go ahead and release it right
release
now
an album.
today.
Release an album on this fool."
Hey, release the soundtrack that you don't control. Come on, man. She don't control the soundtrack to the Lion King.
Maybe she did.
Okay. So even scratch that one. Everything above that though.
Everything else though, that's Jay. That's all Jay.
And that's 4 out of 5.
It's too coincidental. It's too cool. It's too coincidental. Even though it's far fetched, it's too coincidental.
Man,
it's too coincidental, man.
This sound now. Listen,
it is far fetched. It's far fetched. If it was 50, I wouldn't even question it. 50 did it.
You right.
That's who he is.
You right.
That's who he is. Jay-Z. He's one of he always throws subliminal lines all the time. He still be throwing subliminal lines to this day at people. If you really listen to Jay, he still be throwing subliminal lines at people. But I can see him doing this. I could see Jay saying, "Man, Nas got a project coming out. When? All right, I can push mine back a couple days. Ain't no thing. Push back a few weeks. We can come out at the same time." Just to stick it to Nas. And the thing about it was, did y'all see the interview that when the Breakfast Club asked Nas?
Yeah.
He sounded like he didn't even know.
Right.
I'm like, come on, dude. But then again, me and your mom was talking about that. My man said he don't got hip hop in his playlist though.
Who, Nas?
Yeah, he said he don't got hip hop in his playlist.
He's in a different bubble.
I'm like, man, that explains your beat selection, man.
Yeah. That explains him. I mean, dropping the album when Jay dropped an album.
You know, this is all Jay-Z, man. this is
listen, like I said,
hold on. What? Go ahead, dog.
Like I said, I can't put. I don't think it's good, but I would not put it past him. Like you said, I wouldn't put it past Jay to do it.
Now those early ones, not after Stillmatic.
Mm-hmm.
What labels was Nas on with those albums?
That's a great question.
That's a good question.
Let's go see. Let's go take a look.
He wasn't with Def Jam.
It's a high possibility now.
He was with Columbia.
No, he had been on Columbia.
He was with RCA. He wasn't with Def Jam.
Come on, let's go. Where's the Scott?
Because if he was on Def Jam,
Def Jam, Jay,
sustained.
Dang, Jay, why do that man like that?
If he was on Def Jam, Jay did it.
Okay, so let's see. Street Disciple was Colombian.
Told you.
What was the other one? It was Nas Greatest Hits or something like that.
Yeah, Nas Greatest Hits. That was on Columbia. That probably was on Def Jam too.
Oh, I didn't got it in his discography. Where is it at? Oh, we'll say that one's in Def Jam. No,
Nah, we're gonna say that's a independent joint.
no. I'm trying to see how long he was at Def Jam so we can put it together.
But
he was at Def Jam from 04 to 06.
Yeah.
So Jay gave him a pass while he was at Def Jam.
Yeah.
Okay. He gave him a pass. But then as soon as he left, it was on again. It was on again. That's crazy though. I had never thought about that, and I never knew it until I had seen that post. I was like, "Yo, really?"
You know who I've seen it from though? Royce the 5'9".
Really?
He posted it. He ain't even put a comment or anything. He just posted it.
He just put it out there like, hey, just take a look at this and tell me what you think. You don't need to You don't need to caption it just because of the history between them two. It speaks for itself. It speaks for itself.
It does.
Now Nas put something out next year, and Jay put something out next year. I'm gonna say, listen, Jay, all right, Jay.
It's like they said, hey, for real, what we got there? What we got there and talk? Put that one out. Put that one out. It's right.
Speaking of Pharrell and Jay-Z.
Well, I thought he was Marvin Gaye.
The entrepreneurs. It was bad. It was terrible. It was really, really bad. It was hard to get through. Like Pharrell thought he was the Yin Yang Twins at the beginning. We was doing the Whisper song. Like I'm like, man, like this, I don't even know what Jay-Z said. I couldn't make it to Jay verse. I couldn't make it to Jay verse. I was done listening to it. Like great message in there. Just a bad delivery of that message. Terrible delivery of that message. And I don't want to put Pharrell in that category with some other people, but I be feeling like some people feel like they're at that plateau where they could just put out whatever they want, and people are gonna go and listen to it and vibe with it and bang with it just because it's me. Pharrell, you missed with this one, buddy. This one wasn't hitting. I didn't like it. I gotta go back and listen to Jay verse. Hopefully, somebody put in the comments what moment Jay verse goes on, so I can just go straight to that point, or somebody just got the Jay verse from Entrepreneurs on YouTube, so I can just go listen to it, because I do not want to try to listen through Pharrell again. And I had the lyrics up. I picked the lyrics video, and I'm like, man, he's saying some alright stuff, but man, I can't listen to this. The beat, how Pharrell gonna have a terrible beat? That's what you do. You're not a singer. You're not a rapper, dude. You're a producer, and you produce that, and you produce that. That's what you put out. Come on, man.
I do agree with him. I do agree with you when you said, because again, when you think about Pharrell, his body of work speaks for itself. So Pharrell just thought, hey, listen, I'm gonna just throw anything together, put it out there, and I'm gonna throw Jay out there because he's another one that whatever he put out, people go listen, gravitate to, listen to as well. So me and Jay together, we can put out anything and people gonna go listen to it. And that's what Pharrell did, and that's what we got. That's how I feel. Like I said, Jay always going. To me, Jay, whatever Jay says is gonna captivate, or gonna draw people in. So, I think having Jay on there and Jay's verse was dope. It was alright, but I'm with you with Pharrell. Like, it do feel like Pharrell just threw something out there. It feel like him and Nas was in the studio together.
Black man.
They definitely
Black
did this
man,
together.
black man.
They definitely did it
Yo,
together.
yo. But the funny thing you saying black man, you know, with the lyrics, right? They're not gonna just keep putting black man on there. It said black man 16 times. I'm like, that's the whole hook. That's the whole. That's the whole hook. 8 bars of black man, and I turned it off. I
So
turned it off.
when I first listened to it, I had the same reaction. It was kind of like, all right, when we gonna get a J verse? Because this is not what I came for. Um, and the one bar that I got for every one Gucci support for two Fubus, that's the line that got me. But that's the only memorable moment that I have from that song besides Black Man, Black Man, Black Man.
Hey, listen, he got you. Coach, you drew you in. The black man.
He drew
Drew
me
you in,
in.
the black man.
I mean, if
He
you
did
say
his
it
job.
16 times, you're going. I told you I was trying to listen to the song, so the way he said it, it was 16 times. So I heard it 16 times before I got the J verse, so it stuck in my head.
He drew you in. He did his job.
Didn't draw
Got him.
me in. It was a chant. It was a
Gotcha.
hypnosis.
And listen, he knew he put J at the end.
Exactly.
So you gotta
Exactly.
go through the whole song.
A 3-minute and 45-minute song, and J at 2:49.
Oh, that's when it come on. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
I
I
was
was gonna listen to it. Oh man, don't do that to me, man. I was gonna go listen to it when we get off. I'm gonna go listen to it when we get off here. But it was bad, man. It was bad.
you
Great
gotta get the
message.
you gotta get the
Great
J
message.
verse, man. You gotta
Great
you
message.
gotta. It's actually 4 minutes and 19 seconds, and J verse not even that long. Wow.
It's like 19
Okay,
seconds.
so okay, I definitely understand why you didn't get to it. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, the song was long,
Normally
and that's
songs ain't
without a
long
video.
like. Normally the songs ain't long like. I mean nowadays, a three
he
minute
had the
song is great.
Whew. Let me since you were talking about nowadays, I started realizing something. A lot of these rappers these days, they only spit in 2/16s. They're not giving us the a traditional 3/16s. And I ain't mad at them. Because I'd rather you give me 2/16s that's hot than give me 2/16s that's hot and a 16 that's mediocre or trash. You know what I'm saying? But the songs aren't long anymore. Like you can get through. You can like I felt like Nas album was like that. Like I basically listened to Nas album about 40 minutes, 13
Yes,
tracks.
it's 36 minutes.
Yeah. Like I listened to it. I literally listened to it on my drive to work and then on my drive home. And I work in Seaford and I live in Laurel. It's a 15-minute drive.
Yeah, I mean that's how, and especially if you get a feature, then you only get 1/16 that you're gonna hear. So, I mean that's what music is today. I mean,
That's working
even
smarter, not harder.
because I guess that's the requirements now to be considered a album is like, and everybody's just cut that right at the limit. I don't know if that's, I don't know what that's about. To be quite
But
honest.
I would tell you, I definitely understand it because again, if for a longevity wise, right? That's a 16 that I can hold. You know what I mean? That's a 16 that I can put somewhere else. You know what I mean? Because people going to listen to it regardless. You know what I mean? No matter how if it's short, if no matter how long or short it is, if it's short, people going to listen to it. You know what I mean? They're gonna go copy it regardless. They're gonna say it's hot, and then that's another, like you said, Nas had 13 albums. That's another 13. You know what I mean, 16 that he got. That's probably a whole nother album for him. You know what I mean?
One thing I just thought about, it might be the attention span, because I mean with all the social media, TikTok, Twitter, Snapchat, and whatnot, everything is shortened. You know what I mean? To where everybody's going through, and when you're talking about streaming songs and whatnot, it's just on to the next, on to the next, on to the next. So you got to capture the moment right at that moment, and that's a possibility I just thought about.
That's when you're putting out garbage, man. You got to keep it short.
Speaking of that, feel like, and I'm not saying that none of them, but I feel like there's very few like just classics that's timeless as far as even singles. Now, because of social media and TikTok, because things get played out so fast that, I mean, it just becomes overwhelming at times. Like, you'll like a song, and then because if you TikTok, you hear it 85 times. If you're on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you hear it all the time. So you don't even like it no more after like a couple weeks. But then again, something else hot is coming out right behind it, and it's gonna do the same, thing. I don't think that we're in the era of music where I don't think we're gonna get a lot of timeless music, because everything is we're just overwhelmed with so much music, and we're overwhelmed with the same music over and over and over again.
And to be honest, I just don't know. So yes, I agree with that, because it's being being bombarded with it. It could take away from it, but I also just think there is no timeless music like that anymore. I don't think that we're getting classics.
I didn't want to say that.
I just don't think. I mean, I just
It's
don't think
not.
we are. I don't think we're getting classics.
I don't think so.
I don't think that, and the reason being is one of the things that we just touched on. We ain't getting the full 316s. People aren't putting in I think people are just putting in the work just to put out a project. You know what I mean? I'm doing this just to put out a project. Now, some of it is hot. You know what I mean? Because that's just the talent in it. But are you really putting in the work, like, to make classics? You know what I mean? You're a talented writer, or you got a talented ghostwriters, or you got a good flow. But you're not putting in the work to say, you know what? I don't know if this is going to be a classic or not. I don't think that that's their mentality. Like, I think in our era, and in a couple, projects afterwards, I think some of their mentality was, I want to put out classics. Like, I think Drake, when he first came out, like, he wanted to put out classics. Like, now, I don't think Drake thinks like that no more. I don't think Drake, like, man, I want to put out a classic. Drake just like, I just want to put out a hit.
Drake is one of those guys that I would put with Pharrell, where he feel like he can just put out whatever, and because I'm Drake, people are gonna flock to it, and they do. Mm-hmm. What's the song he got out now? Laugh Now, Cry Later.
Yeah, the joint with Drake, not Drake, Lil Durk.
Lil Durk. Ugh. I thought it was God's plan. Straight up, I did. But to me, I feel like Dom. I don't think they put in the same time and effort. The talent and the skill. Some of these dudes have it. We cannot deny that lyrically, some of these dudes are on the same par with some of the guys from our era. We can't say that they're not. Some of these dudes are there, but I just don't feel like we still get a lot of classic albums, classic timeless hit songs. I just don't feel. I feel like we're gonna get some hits for right now, and then we're gonna move on to the next one.
Right. Yep. Like, dang, what was that song they was talking? What was that album that Lil Baby just did last week? Like, I'm with you. And I think a part of it also is like, which kind of part of it is what you're saying is we're in a microwave age right now, where if you could put out something like last month, and if you're not working on something like right afterwards, you could be irrelevant because of how much music is coming at you, like how much stuff is coming at you. And like you said, if you're not making music for TikTok or Instagram or whatever, if you're not making music like that, it don't matter what the bars are. If you're not making music that can be on one of these platforms, you're not gonna get played.
Listen, man, I know me. I got to search through. I can't go to new releases and all that. I got to like it's been stuff that I didn't even know people drop albums when they did, and I got to go back and oh snap, Joel Ortiz. Let me. You know what I mean? There was no promotion to that whatsoever. I ain't hear about that. Um, even with Black Thought. That's one. But like you said, as far as classic work, it's to me it's an influx of hip hop artists now to where it's so much music that you have to shorten it up, and especially for the age that we're in, like we said, the microwave age and whatnot. I mean, TikTok has put me onto a lot of not reggae songs, but Afrobeat songs. My wife be listening to TikTok and it be in my head. Next thing I know, it be bobbing. It don't make my playlist, but at the end of the day, I've heard it. You know what I mean? So I definitely understand how these social media can, especially if something goes viral, can influence, especially like the challenges and the dance and whatnot. It seems like that actually pushes the singles a lot more than what the radio used to do. It's like I would hear songs on TikTok first before I would hear it on the radio.
I think one of the, and I'm about to be probably a little controversial, but I feel like we're in an era where the producers are the stars and not the rappers. Um, think about it. For years, man, I didn't know certain guys had made beats until I remember. I think it was Swiss and Timberland before we did this whole versus thing. They were like literally on stage DJing, battling each other, and they were dropping songs that each other did. Timberland had a certain sound, so you kind of knew when a Timberland beat hit. But even him, you was putting on stuff, and I was like, whoa, I didn't know Timberland made that beat. And then Swiss would drop something, I'm like, whoa, I didn't know Swiss made that beat. But now, oh Lord, Justin made another one. Like they letting you know who
They
they
got the
are before
tagline.
before it dropped, because I feel like they are the stars. I don't feel like the rappers are the stars anymore. I feel like the producers are the stars of hip hop now. They are the guys that move. They are the guys that move the needle. It's the producers, not the rappers right now.
Who was the first one to start doing that tagline for the producer?
I don't know. I don't remember when it started. I don't remember. I don't. When I never heard Scott Storch put his name in the beat. I never heard Rottweiler put his name in the beat. Like DJ Premier might put his name in the beat, but it be at the beat. Like most of the time, it was one here or there. It wasn't in every single one, but turn that shit up quick. Like every track that these dudes produced, their tagline is in it, and I ain't mad at them. Get your money, because those are the dudes that are moving the needle.
Yep.
Not the rappers.
So the question I got,
David Banner.
you think he was the first to put the
You
tagline in?
think you think David Banner was the
That's
first?
that's as far as I'm going back. That
But
David Banner.
but he
Ain't
did
ever
he
seen Chevy Whip before the fly nose.
but did he do it in every track though?
Nope. He ain't doing
Mm-mm.
every track.
These guys do it in every track, and it's within the first 5 to 10 seconds of the song before somebody start. Before a rapper drop a bar,
It lets you know.
the producer lets you know it's his track.
Yeah, definitely.
So the question I have, right? Because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm glad Bit brought this up, because I'm sitting here thinking like, dang, what was the last classic? What was the last classic? So for y'all, what do y'all think was the last classic for y'all? And I'm the first one that popped in my head is 50. That's
Jeez, wow, that man.
Man, you went
You
back to
said
02?
this man.
03?
That album
I'm
went
going.
diamond, bruh.
I'm
There's
going.
nothing
I'm,
that went diamond.
all right, let's go. Let's think about it. Like
Goodness
I'm sitting here thinking like,
gracious.
I mean, Black Album came after that. To me, that's a classic.
okay, yeah, Black Album.
Black
See, I
Album is
didn't.
a classic.
Black Album was what, 05?
05, 06, one of them. But then
Oh no, you know what? I'm
Can
glad
they
you started
say
thinking about
TM
because
101 is a classic to me? TM
actually
101 is a classic to me.
now I'm
I
sitting
feel
thinking
like,
like,
but it's been a while. To me, I
Horse Hill
haven't listened
Drive.
to it all the way through.
I heard you try to slide that in there.
I ain't
What he say?
sliding in there.
He
Horse
tried to
Hill
do
Drive.
he tried to do the
Horse
Force
Hill
Hill Drive
Drive.
in there, J. Cole.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I was gonna say I don't know. Like I haven't listened to any of his albums all the way through, but I listened to enough of his tracks that I feel like if there was a guy, it would probably be him,
J. Cole.
J. Cole. If there was a guy, it would probably be him because I know a lot of these young kids out here. Every every young kid out here thinks that their favorite rapper is the GOAT. I don't know what the GOAT term is like completely dead at this point because everybody's a GOAT in rap. You know what I mean? But a lot of these guys like they make hot music, but it's the producer.
hmm
Now, if the producer puts out an instrumental classic, that's him. But a dude rapping over hot beats does not make that album a classic just because
Right.
the beats are hot and the hooks are hot, and he ain't talking about nothing in his verses. That doesn't make it a classic album just because he got 14,
Hot beats.
15 bangers in there. He
Right.
might have 14, 15 bangers and then not be a classic because we're still talking about rap here and lyrical content means something. That's part of the package to be a classic. You know what I mean? And I'm
hmm
with you, Dom. I don't know the last time I heard that, and I feel like it's got to be J. Cole because to me
Yeah.
he's the total package. You know what I mean? He's the total package to me. You feel me? Like I feel like a lot of guys make hot music. There's a lot of guys I think Future is terrible, but Future make a lot of bangers, man. I
Proof.
give it to him. You know what I mean? I think he can't. I don't think he can rap his way out of a wet paper bag. He's
Future
terrible.
proof. But
He's trash. But
future
he make bangers. He make
future proof
bangers.
future a prophet, man. He spoke that he the future. He said what was gonna happen. When future, whatever future, he is like the poster boy of the music that we see today. Like I don't know what the heck they're talking about, but for some reason, like
It had my mirror. It had my mirrors rattling, boy. I'm telling you, like, you feel me? I mean, like, I don't feel like. I just feel like the music today is again for the moment.
right.
It's not timeless. It's
I'm
just
with
for
you.
the moment.
I'm with you.
I think the one hit wonders from back then would thrive heavily in this era of music.
Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine the TikToks for Ice Ice Baby?
Right? That would
And
blow up the charts, bro.
could you imagine the TikToks for Hammer Time? Like let's be real.
Listen, I lied to you not. I don't know why it just came in my head. I went back and listened to Country Grammar like this week, and I'm like, yo, like Nelly has some hits on here. Like
Nelly got some bangers.
I'm like Nelly got time. And that's when you talk about like timeless music. I go back and I'm listening to it. I'm like, I'm going down, down, babe. I'm like, Nelly got bangers. Like
Got bangers.
Hey man, Nelly sold a lot of hits, man.
Nelly,
Yeah,
listen,
Nelly got Nelly got a
Nelly
Nelly
got
got a
hits.
lot of hits.
Nelly
You know what I'm
sold a
saying?
lot.
He even out rap Ti on the track, man.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just messing. I was just poking to mine because I know that's to my man Ti.
He ain't lying. He did all right.
Yo, you remember when Nelly tried to go at KRS-One? He had a joint called "I Am Number One." Nobody
hmm
knows it. Why? Where did he go after that?
Oh,
Nelly.
Nelly or KRS-One?
KRS-One is always around lecturing. He's not. Don't nobody know where KRS-One is. But I'm talking about Nelly was in movies and stuff, and all of a sudden, it's like he went with Floyd's ex-girlfriend and left.
Well, he also, but I mean, he did get into the acting thing. Um, but I think Nelly at this point just a businessman. He probably even pop up on tours every now and again because he got that cult following. You know what I'm saying? And like when you are the biggest rapper out of a major city, St. Louis, like who's the other
When you think of St.
big
Louis,
time?
that's what you think of.
That's what you think
Biggie,
of. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he ain't everything.
like, so I mean, I'm pretty sure in the Midwest, man, like he could go wherever he want and still tour and sell out places. So I mean, he good.
Just like P, just like Master P from wherever the freak he from. Where he from? Houston.
He's not.
Master P is a businessman, but
He's
listen,
not on nobody's tour talking about making things at
yeah,
all.
right.
You are
Listen,
not going.
he
Listen,
killing it in Houston.
Are you serious?
Killing it if he
Are
come out with a
you
tour.
serious? The thing about it is with P, that whole New Orleans movement, that whole No Limit movement, man, like he can live off that. He can tour off that, man.
he
Don't
can.
forget, man, they was putting out an album like every month.
Yeah, they were.
Like every
I'm
month.
saying that
Every month. They were dropping albums like mixtapes.
I'm not
Covers look
seeing
like
him
it too.
touring right now. He's dropping oodles and noodles and
Snap, yeah,
microwave mac. So
he
he's
not touring right now, but
he's in a
But
different
listen, if
lane
he
right now.
wanted to,
if he wanted to,
he
Yeah,
put
he could.
Mystical and them back together, boy.
I was gonna say he could dust off Mystical and Mia X and keep Silk home though. P. Keep
Listen,
him home.
he gonna bring Silk out too. He gonna bring
Keep
Silk
keep
out.
keep keep the original Blueface home, man. Keep him home.
He bringing them all out.
Yo,
They
he
all
called
over.
him the original Blueface.
He was the original Blueface.
I never thought of that.
That dude still can't find a beat.
I never thought.
He still
I
don't know
thought
where it's at.
I thought that was his style. I thought that's what made him unique.
He just can't find a beat. He can't find a beat to save his life, man.
Yo, what's the joint he did with Maya? I was like, what?
You know,
What
He
is
was
he
everywhere.
doing?
He was everywhere.
he was
He definitely
terrible.
was everywhere.
He was terrible, man. He was terrible.
Shout out to Silk the Shotgun, man.
Listen, man,
Shout out
he
to
put his brother on, man, and he pushed it, man.
Get your money.
But
Just
yeah,
get your money. Get your money. I ain't gonna say don't get your money. That don't mean I'm gonna have to like your stuff. But get your money.
exactly. Listen, at one point, I tried to talk Dwayne into trying to make a hit. I said, yo, we can just get one little radio joint, yo. Just we get it in. Yep.
Yeah.
Bit. Look, I was like, listen, we can just get one tour like one time for like a couple months.
Man, all I gotta do, just all I wanted to do was be on the Black College homecoming tour.
Yeah.
And I would, that's all I needed. That's all I
Yes.
need. The Black College homecoming tour, man. Just
Yeah.
hit up all the HBCU homecomings up and down the East Coast, man.
Especially during that time. Oh, that, yeah.
Trouble.
killing it.
Yeah. Boy, I'd probably still be stuck somewhere in Florida.
And I'd have kids up and down I-95.
Bro, I say this thing all the time. I say the core all the time, man. Shoot, playing basketball. If I would have made it, man, I definitely would have had like about 12. I probably had one in every city. I had one in every city. I told you if I'd have made it.
Oh, snap. Oh, I
Oh,
didn't
Lord.
know Cole was right there.
All right. So since we talk about making it in basketball, let's
Speaking of getting a shot. Speaking of getting your shot.
Oh.
Speaking of getting your shot, man, let's talk about Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. Tory Lanez beat.
Okay, so that yeah. So I heard that Tory Lanez got deported back to Canada.
I heard that through the rumor mill as well. But what's up with these male rappers? I've seen a few of them now. You know what I mean? Siding with him, like coming at Meg. Like, dude, are you really condoning a man shooting a woman?
Hey, Bun B says
Like,
misogyny, man.
come on, man. Like, I understand. Like, people say, I've heard people say, like, well, they want to be treated equal. I mean, yeah, that's cool, but I don't think they want to be treated equal as far as violence goes. Like,
Right.
that's not what they're asking for.
At all.
Like, so that's just to me, that's just ridiculous for any man to feel like you could justify putting your hands on a woman and then to justify shooting a woman. I don't care. Again, I don't know what happened in that car. I'm not going to speculate what happened in that car. But even if she was absolutely giving him the Mike Tyson workout in that car, he shouldn't have shot.
No,
Thing,
he definitely should have shot.
Here's the thing. I read the whole thing. I read the whole Meg report. She said it was beef. She got the car because it was kind of close to the place she was staying, and he said he rolled up on her and shot her in both feet. So
for what though? What is the motive behind it? I'm not understanding the motive. Like Biff said, I don't care if you was getting all types of. What was the motive? From what I understand, she was walking away.
he was walking away. She was legit walking. She was walking to the house she was staying at, and he rolled up on her because he was about 5'2", and he
Nah, don't put that in there, man.
he ain't like what she said about his height. You know what I mean? And then he pulled out the hammer on her. You know what I mean? But he wanted to bring it down to his size. You know what I mean?
Stop.
He wanted her to feel like what it felt like to be 5'2". That's what he wanted to do. Like,
man, she even when she sat on the curb, man, she was still taller than him. But I don't understand how a man with you have to have a mother. You're born, so you have to have a mother. How can you sit there and justify hitting or shooting a woman? You would be cool with a man shooting your mom? Come on,
man. To me, it had to be. And again, I know we're getting off topic because we did talk about the Tory Lanez thing. We're gonna talk about the people signed with Tory Lanez, but to me, it had to be like whatever she said to him had to really get on it, really upset him because he shot her in both feet. Like he didn't do it one time and shot her in one foot. Like he shot her in both feet. Like it, yeah. Whatever she did to him, whatever she said to him, it had to really get under his skin. Like that's why I feel like it was about the type.
man, he can't. Man, he a grown man. He can't still be sensitive about his height, man. You can't still be that sensitive about your height.
You famous, bro. Like everybody gonna see you that height.
It can't be, man. Like I know a lot of women. A lot of women didn't know he was that short until all of this came out. They didn't realize he was that short. But still, man, like you've been short all your life, bro. You gotta get over that. Yeah. Definitely can't be shooting nobody over it. let alone a woman.
Yeah, but I'm with y'all. Like, and what in this day and age, and what to me it goes back to what we talk about a lot on the show, like the disrespect for women. You know what I mean, the legit disrespect for women. To like we disregard, like we throw them away. He legit shot this girl in her feet, and then now y'all backing him talking about. I mean, y'all siding with Tory Lanez. I don't understand how, and again, I don't care what report came out, but I don't understand how you can read the report. Here's where it gets me because she kind of defended him at first. She defended him. You know what I mean? And then she came back and said, well, this will happen. And now y'all coming at her throwing shots at her for telling the truth.
Yeah, like I even heard somebody say she was a snitch.
Nah, she's. Oh
man, how can a victim be a snitch?
What is happening here these days when the victim is a snitch?
A
What?
victim is a snitch. That doesn't even
You
make
better not
sense.
tell nobody what I just did to you.
Like that's crazy.
Come
Like
Hey,
on.
one of the things that J.R. Smith said about it, I agree with. Um, he was like, "This clown, she's a female. Y'all listening to his music like it's okay. The F, Tory Lanez, you're a straight clown, and tell whoever to hit my line, it's whatever."
J.R. Smith probably really about
J.R.
that
Good,
too.
man.
and
J.R.
that Henny,
go.
you better leave him alone.
He
Yeah,
probably really
yeah,
about
man,
that
leave
life
him
too.
alone. But I
He
mean,
was willing. He was willing to lose a game one for LeBron. You better leave him alone. He willing to. He'll risk it all.
He don't care. He don't care.
He'll risk
He
it
risk
all,
hey,
it
man.
all. He was willing to, like you said, he was willing to risk it all in the
All
finals
hey,
in the finals.
you remember he beat up the boy that tried to
to try to get his card.
get in his car. Yeah, man. Don't forget that happened while the pandemic was happening. It was right before he got signed to the Lakers. But I feel what he's saying. You know what I mean? Like it don't matter what was said. Doesn't matter how hurt your feelings are. You know what I mean? When we come to that, um, I mean, this is supposed to be a female, a black female that's prominent in our hip hop community as of right now. So for that, I mean, to be two young stars as growing, um, it really doesn't matter what was said or what was done. Nothing requires this rebuttal as far as a response.
I agree. Like you said, one, she was walking away, so she wasn't no threat to you. Um, and like Biff said, even if she was giving you the work in the car, um, get out of there. You know what I mean?
Shimmy
And
out.
ain't nobody. He
Shimmy
said,
out your clothes. Get
Get out of it, boy.
"You
You got to get out of it.
gotta get out of there."
out of it.
You know what I mean, ain't nobody gonna look at you any differently. Maybe his hood in Canada, they probably would have looked at him a little differently. Um, maybe Drake would have looked at him a little differently. I don't know, but like in your hood and like no matter where you are, nobody would look at you any differently if she was beating you up and you got out of there. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, um, let's one of the topics we're going to talk. We were going to discuss the protests, right, and the boycotts in sports. We had a couple reports that came out about how the Milwaukee Bucks actually led the charge, and then Orlando followed suit. Um, and then we saw how a report that came out and said that none of the other NBA franchises like knew, but they actually backed them. But then they were mad that they did it. So tell me, like your thoughts on what Milwaukee did, um, and your thoughts on other NBA franchises actually being upset that they did it.
So from what it sounds, I mean, from what it said, I guess George Hill was the one that started it with the Milwaukee Bucks. Started a conversation, and I think that there was probably some backlash because if they were to take that step, they wanted to take it as a unit versus it being to where it was kind of like a domino effect. Um, they look all over the place though right now, to be quite honest. Because I mean, you got different guys saying different things. Um, you go from protesting to playing basketball. Um, it's what was in the meantime. There's nothing being said. The only discussion that's being had is behind closed doors is what was happening to come to the decision. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like nothing's being said about the subject or the reason as to why y'all was boycotting in the first place. And if that's the reason why y'all took that stand, then say something. Or is it underlying reasons why y'all boycotting? I don't know. It just looks confusing to me.
For me, it just speaks to the black community. You know, we're not on the same page. We're all over the place. We're fighting different fights. We don't know why certain people are doing certain things. I felt Milwaukee. You know what I mean? Because what happened with um,
Jacob Blake.
Jacob Blake, It happened in their backyard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It happened in their backyard. So for them to make this stand, you know, understandable. Um, what I didn't like was, again, I feel like if y'all didn't like it, the only people that should have known that was the NBA players and teams. Certain things should never come out. I don't care. I know Woj is the inside guy, but certain things he should never get a hold of. There's certain things he should never get a hold of. When y'all have players only gatherings, especially about something of this magnitude, if y'all were bickering and y'all weren't on the same page, that should have never came out. It should have never came out. And then it just continued to pile on when you hear that LeBron was getting out of pocket in certain instances. You know what I mean? And like, and people always feel like he can do no wrong. So they're gonna justify his actions. But if people are coming out of there, especially if it's players, again, it should have never came out, but it came out. So I'm gonna speak on it. If players came out of there feeling like he was being disrespectful, that he was out of pocket, then how are you and I are gonna say that they're wrong? That they're wrong for feeling that way. That they felt disrespected. If he was on there, if he was in there tripping, he was in there tripping. And he's the one that flip flopped, because from my understanding, it was the Lakers and the Clippers that was like, nah, we're done. But it was the rest of the teams, which still is weird to me, considering that George Hill is leading the pack for the Bucks, and he was the one that was said we shouldn't be here in the first place. He still went. He had an opportunity to leave, and it would have been a justified reason to leave, and he still stayed. And then his team voted to stay. Here is my position, and I said it in the chat. And this whole thing of I got to do what everybody else is doing right now, we got to move away from that. We got to follow our own heart, because guess what? There are like-minded people just like you. If you were a player in that bubble and you felt like it, for me, in my personal feelings, I can't be here. I feel like there's more that I could be doing than playing basketball. I shouldn't be playing basketball right now because there's other things that I could be doing, better things that I could be doing. Then leave, because you're going to go out and you're going to find like-minded people on that same path. I don't feel like you should everybody in the NBA has to be on the same page, because everybody in the NBA obviously isn't on the same page. And at this point, it don't like they're ever going to be on the same page, especially when the leader or the supposed leader is LeBron, and he rubbing people the wrong way. So he's starting to lose some of his credibility amongst the younger players. This to me, it started out as a good Wednesday started out as a good look, and by the time Thursday morning hit, it was like, what in the world is going? What is going on? What is going on? Where is this going? And I just felt like the Bucks made a great decision, and the NBA teams followed them, and then they turned their back on them. That's just how I feel.
Can I say one thing for you?
Yep.
Because I want to piggyback off of what you were saying as far as I don't lost the daggone thought. Go ahead.
I'm glad he brought up the LeBron, because like Biff said, it seems like everybody waits for, well, what did LeBron say? Well, what does LeBron think of this? You know what I mean? That's what it seems like. The NBA, he is the face of the NBA, so everybody kind of waits for, like, he's like the godfather of the NBA. Well, what is LeBron thoughts? What did LeBron think about it? And honestly, I think the Bucks legit wanted to do this thing by themselves. Like you said, it was in their backyard. They didn't tell nobody except Orlando. They let Orlando know because that's who they were playing. And it just seemed like Well, LeBron or Chris Paul. Yeah, I mean, two people who are said to be leaders, and I think that they are leaders in certain things that they do. But I think that certain ways that they lead can rub people the wrong way. And I feel like the Bucks did this thing, and because LeBron and Chris Paul wasn't like notified of it, they weren't told about it. It kind of made them mad. It kind of irritated them. You know what I mean? And I think that they just wanted to get behind it. You know what I mean? To show unity. But like, I'm with you. If you don't have to be unified, you don't have to do everything. And I'm not gonna say that you don't have to be unified, but you can do your own thing and still support. You know what I mean? That's unity. You can still play for a championship and still support somebody who doesn't want to play for the championship. You know what I mean? That shows unity. That shows that I support what you're doing. The rest of the NBA, and to my knowledge, it wasn't even all of the Lakers. It was just some of the big people, some of the bigger guys. Probably LeBron. Really, if we wanted it probably was just LeBron. You know what I mean? Who said, this is what we're doing. And they probably followed suit. But I just think that, like Biv and like Taman said, it's like, there is what's going on now. That it doesn't look like you're unified to the point where, like, I bang with this guy Jaylen Brown. Like, they wanted, like, a lot of people want apologies from the Bucks, and Jaylen Brown stood up and said, "Y'all don't owe nobody no apology. Apology for what? Like, y'all did what y'all did. Y'all took a stand. Y'all wasn't trying to get nobody involved. It was in my backyard, so we was going to protest in our backyard for something that happened in our backyard. And again, we don't know if that was going to be the one game or whatever it was. Apparently, it looked like it was just going to be the one game. I think it was LeBron and them that said, you know what, we're going to take this and we're going to make it bigger than what the Bucks had initially wanted it to be. So I think that this whole thing, to me, looks like it's LeBron stirring everything. It's LeBron making all this thing go, and he got a couple people on board, and it's like there is a disconnect between the older people, the older star, and the younger stars. And I don't know if y'all watched Stephen A. I think y'all might have posted it. You posted it. Stephen A. said there's a huge disconnect between the older people, Chris Paul and them, LeBron and them, those people, and the younger people. There's a huge disconnect, and it's because they don't know how to lead. And we saw that. We saw it in LA. We saw LeBron didn't know how to lead them. He didn't know how to lead the younger folk. That's why he need somebody closer to him, closer to his age. He doesn't know how to lead them. And I think Chris Paul is doing a good job this year leading this young folk. But sometimes I feel like he can't lead young people either, because they lead differently, like a strong arm.
For me, and I don't want to speculate. You know what I mean? I don't want to speculate. But what it feels like it wasn't a LeBron decision for the Bucks to protest. That's how it feels.
That's how it feels.
And now the headlines about the boycotts is about who? About LeBron. He's back about like, and it feels so weird because we're not talking about the boycotts anymore. They're not talking about the protests. They're talking about LeBron and how he is reacting and how he, like, it's so weird because it feels like that's what this was about. The Bucks didn't get my permission to do that.
Yep. And it's funny what you said, right? That Thursday night when I posted in the chat when it first popped up, it said LeBron and the Lakers and the Clippers decided to not play the rest of the NBA, the rest of the season. That was the headline. LeBron and the Lakers and the Clippers decided not to play the rest of the the rest of the NBA season. So
Why? What? Like Ben sir, why would you? Who put that out? Like, okay, so I get the fact that
probably
the
was JR, man. You know, he probably was on.
It's probably LeBron, man.
I was thinking that too.
It's probably
but
LeBron, man.
I understand why Milwaukee did it. I mean, for one, like you said, it was in their backyard. For two, they've had a player go through it, Sterling Brown, where he got tased by the police, by Milwaukee police.
Hmm.
So it hits a lot closer to the fact that we could understand that, right? And then it became a collective. But then, even if it became a collective for a couple of days, why the story about the Lakers and the Clippers don't want to do it? Why was, like you said, why? Who told Woj that? And why would you tell Woj that? Why can't things be in house? Like these sources be getting on my nerves sometimes. Like the stuff that you say, like I get it, reporters supposed to have sources and whatnot, but at the same time, like that to me, it looks divisive. And even if we got to the point to where individuals want to stand out, like we understand that we as us three have that same mindset of we're going to support you, we still doing what we're going to do, but the rest of America ain't going to see it like that. It's going to be divided to where
Hmm.
it's like, okay, if this guy left, why didn't he leave? And especially if the big name LeBron didn't leave, why didn't he leave? Jason Tatum left, Jaylen Brown left. They could have, you know what I mean? So then it's storylines created to where now it's a divisiveness again within us as a community in sports. And I mean, to me, that I was even telling my wife when I first seen that headline, I was like, why would they even put that out? Like, why can't that just be settled in house to figure out what we're gonna do next? Like, we was all in the loop of, okay, this is what they're doing. The NBA has came together with the Bucks, and then whatever happens after that, okay, that's your decision. But then you put that out, it's like, okay, now there's a rift between teams. It's a it's a mismanagement between whatever. Granted, there probably is a disconnect between the older guys and the younger guys. And I mean, we know LeBron, but we may not know LeBron. I mean, from what's being said, he had a king-like atmosphere or tone to his argument or whatever the case may be. We don't see that side of LeBron. You know what I mean? So we don't know what's being said. At the
Yes,
end
we
of the
do.
day,
Like I said, we've
it,
seen that side. We just
Man,
his name is
he
King, right?
ships off he ships off dead weight every January and February. What are you talking about? We
we
seen
What?
this
see it.
side of LeBron.
We see it all the time.
Okay, so
It's
we've seen that he's never personally said that. We've
right.
seen that, right? So what he portrays in the public is that he's this clean cut guy that's got the family, he's an entrepreneur, he's got the school and everything. So for him to look like he's arrogant to the mass media, it's going to look divisive, in my opinion. Like
And it's
just
crazy because this wasn't to the mass media. It was just it got out. Like you said,
them dark horses.
this wasn't to the masses. This was uh, uh, um a players and the owners or a players and the coach, whatever kind of meeting it was. It was really a private meeting. You know what I mean? To the point where
But the private meeting became public.
right. So like you said, to
So
him,
like
he didn't know.
If Milwaukee wants to walk out right now and nobody else goes along with it, it would have been fine if that if in my opinion it would have been fine because it happened in their backyard. They got a player that's went through police brutality, so they can actually use that to go fight. You know what I mean with the DA, with Wisconsin, and all that. I would have no problem with that. But now you got it to where this secret meeting that's became public and all these details is happening. It's like, yo, like, was there we know that Milwaukee it wasn't an agenda, but was there an agenda going forward? And it got confused, or was it messed up? Was it something for like it just it's all over the place, man.
Because like you said, if Milwaukee just does it right, if the Bucks do it, if the Brewers do it, it's understandable. You know what I mean?
Even if Jaylen Brown left, I get it if individuals players left. You know what I mean? Even after that secret meeting, just not the details of the secret
Right.
meeting. I don't want to know that because now I know it might be something other than you know what I mean. You wanting to protest or do whatever that you want to leave the bubble.
it just goes. Here's what I want to. Here's one thing I want to ask y'all after this, but it goes back to what Biff said. Like with the black community, even on that level, we still can't be organized. We still can't do things in an organized manner, and we all can't come on the same page, come together and be on the same page.
Right.
But here's what I want to ask y'all:
That's what Bron said.
Why we don't hear about this dysfunction with the WNBA?
Because they have secret meetings that are secret, and they come together. If they ain't got nobody with the sources coming out leaking nothing.
Because
That's just
women
my
are, because
Women keep secrets.
women can't.
That's a whole nother.
Yo, Nicole's gonna get you. But women, as a gender, have their own battle. So to them, it's always a sisterhood.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they don't care. They don't care who. As far as the WNBA, they don't care who the face is. They don't care who's the leader is. They don't care who. Diana Taurasi is probably still one of the best players in the WNBA right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But is she the face of the WNBA? Is she the voice of the WNBA? Who is the voice of the WNBA?
All of them.
All of them.
Yep, all of them.
All of them. Where in the NBA, it's the king. And that's and that's his mentality is y'all can't make decisions without running it through me first.
You know what's crazy? I'm gonna tell you what's
Then
interesting.
he take it to Adam Silver.
Then they take it to Adam Silver. But here's what I ask y'all: would it have been different if Steph was there?
No,
because he's a different voice as well. He's a big voice as well. You don't think it would have been different?
This the king. I'm the king. You see how he looked at him when he blocked this shot? that one series.
And here's another thing. With LeBron that we all know. He loves to control the narrative.
That's it.
He loves to control the narrative. You know what I mean? And now I want to know. I don't know who the young players were. That
I can tell you one of them specifically.
Who it was, but I'm more intrigued to see how this is going to play out going forward in the playoffs. Like our guys are going to be like, you know what? I'm getting ready to really take it to this dude. He really think he above what he is right now. I'm going to really take it to this guy. But it's not a good look for the NBA. It's not a good look.
One of the quotes, right? They say he said, "I gotta protect those beneath me."
Beneath? He didn't say that. He said that.
That's what the quote. That's what Stephen A. said. He said.
Stephen A. Go ahead.
I gotta protect those beneath me, and they
I
said
missed that part. He said beneath.
He said the meeting was over, and then LeBron grabbed the mic after the meeting and spoke another 15 minutes. And one of the things he said was, "I gotta protect those who are beneath me."
I gotta hear it in the context, but that's still beneath.
Listen, like you said, you don't.
Maybe he was talking about Bronny and them. Maybe he's talking about Bronny and his
man,
kids.
He should have just said it. He should have just said his family then.
Right. If that's what the case.
So that's off the table.
He should have just said, "I got to protect those who are coming up from behind me."
Boy, dang, Bron.
I got to protect the younger generation. I got to protect the future. Not I got to protect those who are beneath me. LeBron said, "Listen, LeBron out here sound like an owner, because that's what he want to be. He sound like an owner.
He want to be."
Or if he had just said, "I got to protect those under me."
Right.
You know what I mean? They're under my wing. You know what I mean? The Mavericks. You know what I mean? Like even if he meant like in that thing, the word beneath
is just that.
I don't know what context.
Good word choice,
I don't know what context I can hear that in. You know what I mean? Unless somebody is literally under him.
Underneath you.
You know what I'm saying? Unless somebody is literally
That's-
beneath you. You know what I'm
like,
saying?
like you
There's
said, I
no
don't care how
context
you
I
say
can
it.
hear that. There's no context I can hear that in. And
I
be
don't
like,
care how you say it. You can say it
okay.
nicely.
He was
Oh, okay.
he was sitting up in the press box and he was talking about everybody that was sitting below.
Nah,
I'm trying, bro.
he was on his throne.
That's exactly what it was.
He was on his throne.
He got that
But
kick that can't go to his head.
Oh
he
man, who named him that? By the way, who did that
what
to that
King
man?
King
Probably
James?
Man,
Brian
that,
Windhorse.
that came no,
Oh
there was
Lord.
it because that came like
That came in high school.
yeah.
Brian Windhorse. You know that was his guy.
I know it's a play off the Bible, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
That's,
I want to know who was the first person to say it. So,
Man, it's the reporter who been with him since high school.
Brian Windhorse.
Brian Windhorse
did it.
out here did it.
and
He has a
anyway,
career because of LeBron.
shut
man.
up. I was
Yes.
getting ready to say the same exact thing.
He is still relevant. Once LeBron
Because
leave,
of
he gonna
LeBron.
leave, yo.
And that's the only time they want to talk to him is anything LeBron. They don't talk. They don't want to talk to him about nothing else.
Yo, it is. I never really realized that till you said it. He ain't on the jump till they talking about Lakers, yo.
Nah. Hey Brian, how's the Lakers?
O'Brien.
LeBron,
What's going on with
does he
LeBron?
still
What
does he
LeBron
still live
have
in
for lunch
Cleveland?
today?
Does he still
I
live in
don't even
Cleveland?
know.
He live in LA now.
He probably did.
Yo,
I think
he
that's where the
about to
joke
write
is.
a tell-all book.
What you mean to tell him? He probably already got it. He got
Getting to
it.
work.
That's probably why he got a job at ESPN because he got that LeBron tell-all book.
LeBron tell
And
all.
LeBron like y'all better
LeBron
keep
like,
him employed.
Right.
Keep him employed because if it's drop, y'all coming with me.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What I did like about the boycott though was the ripple effect
Mhm.
and how the other leagues supported them, especially leagues like soccer and the NHL. Those aren't predominantly black leagues. Those aren't even what people would consider black sports.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So for them to show solidarity with the NBA was a great thing, and I wonder how they feel to see the dysfunction that followed. You know what I mean? Like to me, that would rub me the wrong way. Like, man, we supporting y'all, and then y'all come back and act like this right afterwards.
Right.
And the NBA is always the leader of the
And
pack.
like I said, they always seem like they
room.
unified. Always seem like they got it so put together. And to see this, it's like
Because if they didn't like what the Bucks did, you could have still supported what they did, or how you didn't like how they did it. You could have still supported what they did, and you could have still played your games.
yeah.
You didn't have to boycott your games if you didn't want to. They didn't force your hand. You know what I mean? I know the pressure was on you, like, oh my gosh, man. Like people would have probably been like, oh man, y'all, whatever. But it wasn't nobody going to not watch. I know I was going to still watch the games. I was looking forward. I rushed home to get here at 4, and then I turned on the TV. And I turned on the TV. No, I didn't even turn on the TV. Before I get to turn on the TV, I get the notification that the Bucks was boycotting the game. I'm like, really? I guess that explains why the game ain't on. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I looked at my phone. Right? It was 4:10, and it was showing game time starts at 4 o'clock. I'm like, man, taking so long for them to tip off. like my phone delayed or something. But
Here's another question. Go ahead.
I couldn't believe how fast it flipped. I couldn't believe how fast it flipped.
Yeah.
That was way too fast for it to flip.
Do y'all? So, question as I'm sitting here thinking, do y'all think he acts this way if it's not Giannis in the Bucks? Because Giannis, they're crowning Giannis as the king. They're crowning Giannis as the guy to take over.
Oh,
they already crowned him. They crowned him as the best player in the NBA.
Yeah, that's deeper than rap. I don't think it's that deep, man.
Listen, you just said Jay-Z out here dropping albums with Nas dropping albums.
But this is
But LeBron he loves to control. He loves to control the narrative, man. And I don't think it would have changed if about the. I do think that George Hill played a role in it because I don't think they really get along too well. But I do think that played a role in it. But
Especially after he missed that free throw.
again, yeah, he missed the free throw, but JR, never mind. If he, I still don't understand how you could be upset because they didn't inform
Because they didn't inform you.
That's the only issue. You can't be upset that they boycott because you went right behind them and did it. You didn't have to. There was literally no pressure on you to do it because everybody was thinking that it was the Bucks doing it because of the incident happening in Wisconsin. That was it. Nobody said the NBA was boycotting games. It was just the Milwaukee Bucks was boycotting their games, and then of course the Orlando Magic was who they were playing.
Right.
So they can't play either. What, they gonna play themselves? But
It would have won
one of
that
the
game.
things, exactly, they probably that's the only way that was the only way to extend their season. But you didn't have to boycott. You didn't have to. But to show you, it's funny. You boycotted to show unity when you didn't want to be unified behind it. That's stupid.
He said, I didn't think of it.
That makes no sense. You boycotted to show unity with them, and then got behind closed doors and was like, "Man, that's why'd y'all do that? Why y'all ain't tell us? We wasn't aware. We didn't want to boycott." What? You should have played. You should have played. You would have. I feel like you would have got backlash for playing. You would have got some backlash for playing, but it wouldn't have been as harsh as it is now because now y'all just look all over the place, and then it just snowballed out of control with the whole LeBron looking like a jerk. And from my understanding, in a couple meetings now, he looked like a jerk. He looked like a jerk in the players' meeting, and then he looked like a jerk in the meeting with the coaches. And they
It's a crazy thing.
Just imagine this. This is what I thought of. So the Lakers and the Clippers are the ones that want to leave. What if they make it to the conference finals and then they boycott? Or they play each other. So then Milwaukee win the championship.
That'd be cool.
Just a thought. Just a thought.
But here's
because of what happened.
Because again, just boycott now. Like why boycott?
I wouldn't put it past them.
And again, LeBron loses a lot of heat like that as well because they'll say he didn't want to play. He didn't want to play against Giannis, and he didn't want to see Kawhi.
He didn't want that smoke with the Clippers. He can't do that. He can't.
Did the Clippers join them though?
They're still going to put it on. They're going to put it on LeBron.
They're going to put it on LeBron, but it's going to go back to what Biv just said. The Magic can't play themselves, so that's how they're flipping that. Like the Clippers can't play themselves; they had no choice but to boycott.
And LeBron's the king, so they're gonna say it was his idea.
Yep.
Because I'm not gonna lie, when the Bucks boycotted, my first initial thought was they probably called LeBron and got to go ahead.
Yep. That's what it felt like. Listen, he is the godfather.
They're in the bubble, which means they right there. They right there. And I just felt like this was a conversation that they were having because the Raptors and the Celtics were already talking about boycotting. So when the Bucks did it, I was like, oh, so that's it. They made the decision. But then it was like they didn't know that if the Rockets and the Thunder were going to play. I was like, what you mean you don't know if they were going to play? I'm thinking that this was a unified decision. No, it was the Bucks acting on their own, and they had every right to do that. And instead of y'all being honest and being real about the situation, y'all follow suit when you really didn't want to. I'd rather you be real and not follow suit and deal with that backlash than to be fake, follow suit, and then switch up on them. Come on, man. You can't switch up on people like that, man. That's not right. That's not right, man. Because now people are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And now you're gonna play tomorrow.
And the league that we thought always had together, we now are privy to the things that's behind the scenes that look like it looks like the NFL is more put together than the NBA right now.
Lord, that's saying something.
Just look at it. Just look at a couple of reports. Just look at the reports that just came out.
No, it does, but I'm just saying that's just look at the times we in, man. The NFL got together and
LeBron, the NFL got together and the NBA don't. Owners didn't want to have Black Lives Matter on the court. LeBron beefing with the younger players. And they mad because they boycotted. Some of them didn't want to come. It ain't looking good right now.
Yep, the most progressive league is not looking good right now because they made it seem like the owners was all for the Black Lives Matter being on the court. Like it was, like maybe not all of them, but the vast majority of them were down for it. And then come to find out that they wasn't as down for it as they made it seem to be. And I'm like, yo, this one decision by the Bucks has snowballed this NBA bubble into something completely different. Like they need to get back to playing basketball tomorrow.
Definitely.
Because they need to change the storylines that are going on right now about that league.
Yep.
Very much so.
It's funny, like you said, like because they are all in that one spot and they can't go home to their own places. It feels like we're seeing things that we would have never seen if they could have all just went to their own respective places. But because they are all in one area, we start to see all this. We start to see things that we never would see from the NBA.
Players found out that LeBron run the league. All right, so further thoughts.
They legit found it out. They found out how really it is. It's like, and again, I get a final thought after that, but it's like when you meet your role model for the first time and you realize he a dick, like that's what they just
Barkley
found
said
out about
we're not role
LeBron.
models. Charles Barkley said.
You talk about when Chameleonaire met Michael Jordan.
Oh, I'm glad you brought Michael Jordan up. You know it's bad when Michael Jordan is the voice of reason in the room.
Stop. He's gross. He got all that backlash from his legacy from the documentary.
Jordan
this is my son.
Jordan is loving it. Like oh my gosh, this is gonna be this has to be a part of. This is gonna go on LeBron's 10-part docu-series. They're gonna get him. They're gonna drag him for this one, baby.
Drag him through the mud on this.
They're gonna get him for this one, baby. Let me make sure I'm on the other side of this.
Right.
Jordan is the go-between. Oh, Jordan. Yeah, it's bad when, like you said, it's bad when Jordan is more light in the room.
Times has changed.
Jordan doing more for the culture than LeBron. Anyway, final thoughts. Man, here I got a final thought, but I really don't know how to put it into words. And it goes back to what we were talking about all show. Like, just be real. And I guess that's my final thought. Be real. You know what I mean? Real, recognize real. People will respect you more for being who you are than trying to be something that you're not. And we're seeing that right now. We're seeing that all throughout the NBA. We're seeing that LeBron, his true colors are showing. Some of the owners' true colors are showing. And we're seeing that people are losing respect on a daily basis because they're just not being real. So my final thought for everybody that's listening is just be yourself, be your real authentic self. And allow people to accept you for who you are. People may not accept you for being your real authentic self, but those are the people that you probably don't want in your corner anyway. So just be your real authentic self.
Man, listen, be you is a common final thought. But I think my final thought is to wrap everything up with the music, the protests, boycott, confusion, and everything. And how can I sum this up? And COVID has brought the worst out of people and the best out of people. In Tory Lanez's case, it brought the worst out of him because it brought the best out of him with the quarantine radio, then the worst because now he done shot Meg. Um, it brought the best out of the NBA because they look progressive. Now it's brought the worst because it look like LeBron run the league. So COVID has brought the worst and the best out of people. So yeah, that's my final thought. F COVID. Well, not even F COVID because I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Yep, that's my final thought. I don't know.
My final thought. Man, here we go. My final thought is why do races just feel like a black man's history is who he is? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, regardless of the situation at hand, it never matters because the first thing they want to do is draw up the past. And it's like a black man can't change. He can't change. And that's the way, and that's just the way it feels because only thing that he ever draw up is the past. For us, if one of us, you know what I mean, were to be shot, they're gonna dig up our past to justify it. And that kind of is scary to think about because we're supposed to evolve as people. We're supposed to be growing and learning and maturing and becoming better people. So I just want to add, my final thought is just why can't we as black men grow and be better in y'all's eyes? Like why are we still the same people that we used to be? Like I want to be better. I want to get better. And if you continuously compare me to my past, then that's all you're gonna see is my past. You won't see me for who I am today. And I'm not saying that I'll never say that a criminal is an angel. I'll never say that. I'll never say a criminal is an angel. But he is still or she is still a human being and needs to be treated as such. And if they have done something wrong, then we have a system put in place that is supposed to take care of that. And the police officers are play a role in that. They're supposed to do the arresting. They are not supposed to be doing the judging and the execution. So I challenge racists. I challenge you. Stop being ignorant and putting up a man's past transgression to justify him being shot in the streets like an animal. Stop it.
Yes.
That's our show. But I got some breaking news just broke on the show. It's not sports related. It is culture related. Chadwick Boseman just died.
Are you serious?
Chadwick Boseman. Yep. Chadwick Boseman. Black Panther star. Died of colon cancer.
Wow. Jeez.
So,
all right.
Wow.
Wanted to break that on there.
Condolences to him and his family, and his fans, and wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. I know we just closed on with our final thoughts. But I'll say this again, just piggyback off of what Biff said and everything like that, and just off of what we just saw with Chadwick Boseman, life is too short. Life is too short to keep holding on to these dumb stuff, to not be yourself, and to allow situations to determine where we go. So to wrap up what everybody said, what we all just said, I'm gonna just say life is too short, man.
Wow.
So
Man, that's crazy, man.
that's our show. Again, you can follow us on all of our platforms. If you want to know where we are, check out our go on our Facebook page. Our link tree is in there, and it'll tell you all the platforms that we are on. If you do have a show that you want to talk about, drop it in the comments, and we'll definitely speak on it. But until next time, y'all, that's our show for the day. Speak on it.
Peace.